welcome back, Chris. Hello, Steve. All right, let me jump over here, and we should be good to go. Sliding? It is. Right? It's not. No. There we go. All right. Well, I think we're good. Bruce, could you have a YouTube thing open?
Yes.
All right. I feel like I'm missing something, but let's just start. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm not going to do slides. Let me get comfortable. All right. Sorry I'm running a little late this morning. We got a lot more people coming in. This actually feels good, all close up like this. Trying to get back to 1 p.m. starts, but adding in the gym in the morning on Saturdays has me either underestimating the time or overestimating the time and running a little behind, but we'll figure it out. Some new faces. I'm Carlos. I know we spoke on the phone, but this is Wizards of Ecom. We're about to celebrate our 11-year anniversary. You'll see a lot more people coming in a little later. We've done a little over 1,600 meetups over the last 11 years. I've actually worked with your wife, that's right?
Yes.
Your wife on some stuff. She had the brand Badass Mom Wine, yeah, which was pretty amazing. It's one of the coolest brands I think we worked with. Did she keep with it, or did
Yeah,
she?
she's still doing it.
Yeah, she's still doing it. Good.
Yeah,
So
right now she's going to retail for the supermarkets and
it's
stuff.
probably a better fit. Yeah. But Badass Mom Wine, if I remember correctly, was basically celebratory wine that somebody could drink, non-alcoholic,
non-alcoholic, yes.
while pregnant.
And it tastes like regular wine.
And tastes like regular wine. Yeah. It was a really cool concept. I remember there was some friction in the beginning because of the word ass
Yes.
with Amazon, but yeah, really cool. She was really cool to work with. You're launching a brand, so I know you have a ton of questions that you'll be asking in a bit. Did you join Toastmasters finally?
Huh?
Did you join Toastmasters?
No, I couldn't make it last week. I didn't get home till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I definitely could do it this week.
Cool. So how we do this, how we structure these is from 1 to 2 p.m. is a bit of a beginner hour. So it's open topic. Trying to get back into the rhythm of doing a screen share and showing some products and kind of talking through them, or doing some live sourcing while we're here. It just takes a little bit of pre-work for me to do that. In reality, it's normal to spend like 30 minutes searching around for products to find something good. I'd rather not waste you guys 30 minutes with me just popping around. So what I try to do is find some products ahead of time, and that way when I come in, we can start right from the product. But sometimes I have time and sometimes I don't. I've been a full-time seller now for 16 years on Amazon. Over the years, I guess right or wrong, decided not to put all my eggs in one basket with Amazon. So I've started a lot of other businesses since then, stemming from Amazon suspending my account one time almost like 15 and a half years ago. And with hindsight, I probably didn't need to open that many other businesses with the excuse of diversification, but I did. At heart, I'm a marketer. I love building community. I love creating content. And I love launching brands. Like that's my jam. The 2 p.m. today, we're doing a topic we've not done before, and it's more of predictions. It's really just something for us all to gauge and talk about some stuff. Obviously, AI is one of those things in there, so I think that'll trigger some people. But it's my predictions of what I see coming in the coming years if you're going to be selling on Amazon. And while I may not be right on all of them, I've been pretty accurate each year over the last 16 years. So I think if you at least develop a plan or a strategy to defend against maybe one of these things or embrace one or two of them, you'll be in a much better spot as a seller, whether you're just getting started or whether you're an experienced seller. I started my first businesses with nothing, just like non-existent credit, and I've grown them to 9 figures on Amazon over the years. So I'm familiar with bootstrapping, and I'm familiar with the other side of that as well. And these groups are free, so after these events end, we usually network. You don't have to worry, no one's gonna try to pitch you on anything or sell you any courses or go to the back of the room and give up your 401k type of thing. It's not like that. It's literally just a community of sellers helping sellers, and that's really worked out. Speaking of which, that would not work, and we wouldn't be able to have these groups be free if not for some of the amazing sponsors that you see up here. I don't expect you to just drop everything and go hire them, but if you see them at an event or you are on the market to work with any of them, we say no to a lot more sponsors than we say yes. I think these are some of the good guys. That QR code, if you scan it, it's going to take you to a page where they're all at. You don't have to catch the QR code where on the page of that brand, so that's going to take you to everything. I use 99% of these myself, and the very tiny percentage that I don't, my agreement with that sponsor is that they, before becoming a sponsor, need to work with a few people that I would call like the inner circle here in the group that I trust, and I'm able to get feedback from them, like that they're really good to work with, they got the results that were promised. So these are really legit sponsors. If it was up to my wife, everyone would pay $100 to enter at least, and we'd be charging because she's giving up her Saturdays with me. So the way we're able to pull off, these locations, the snacks that are coming in, there's some coffee, by the way, if you want to grab coffee. The way we're able to do that is 100% with the help of the sponsors that we have. So sincerely appreciated. And if you could even if you just drop them a message like, hey, I just attended the Wizards of Ecom event. I saw you're a sponsor. Thank you. Like, that goes a long way. So we have a podcast called Wizards of Ecom. We have 2 actually, one in English and one in Spanish. They're not translations of each other. Totally different topics, totally different hosts. Alexis and Raul are the co-hosts, or the hosts of the one in Spanish, because my Spanish is not amazing. And I'm the host of the one in English. Feedback, reviews mean a lot. I'll see that we have 5,000 downloads in a given month for an episode, but we have 28 reviews. So I would love to get more reviews. The more reviews we get, the more downloads we get, the more people engage with us, the more sponsors want to work with us, the more we can invest in developing the show even more, and the more content I can share with everybody. So reviews actually really do matter on the podcast. We have an annual event called Online Seller Cruise, where we go as a group on a ship for a week, full of workshops and presentations. You can check out the details of it at onlinesellercruise.com. We have 9 cabins left, and that's it. We set sail on this next one. It's either the last few days of January or the first few days of February. What I would recommend if you are interested in going is that you grab your ticket. Tickets are like $300, not for the ship, for the event. But then once you check out, you're going to be given the code for our group coordinator on Carnival, and they're going to have you put down like a deposit of $100 to secure your cabin. The cabin prices are going to start going up like every 2 weeks now, because it's getting towards the end before the ship sets sail. And I would lock it. Yeah. I would go ahead and lock that in. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. Here. Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you. Well, here's some of those snacks now. Let me open this up for you guys. Yeah, you can help yourselves to that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone too because I lost my keys this morning outside of the gym, so I have everybody looking for them. So I might look at my phone a little more today, hoping somebody found them. So we talked about the cruise. We're really close to announcing our next group trip to China. We used to go twice a year as a group sourcing. We don't charge to go on the trip. You do need to buy your plane ticket, your hotel, and on the ground, any partying or massages or whatever you're into, that's on you. What I'm saying is we don't charge to travel with us as a group to the Canton Fair for product sourcing. I'm almost certain next week's the 4th of July weekend, we don't have an event. But the following week, I'm almost certain I'll be announcing that that's live and where you can go for a lot more details on that. Even though April seems like a long way away, planning for a trip to China like this, it's not that much time in advance. Like there's a lot of planning that you want to do in advance of that. So got the China trip, got online seller cruise, a lot of things happening here with the group in addition to our meetup events. We have an advanced seller breakfast. If you have a business that's selling in excess of $1 million per year and you think you're a good fit for it, reach out to me and I can give you more details on that, make sure you're a good fit, that you qualify. But you'll occasionally hear us talk here in the group about this advanced seller breakfast. You'll at least know what we're talking about then. If you don't qualify, don't be discouraged. Maybe just look at it as something to get extra motivated on to try to get to. And I would advise you not to focus on gross sale numbers and instead focus on profits. But usually if you do that and you're focused more on profits, you'll actually hit those gross numbers pretty easy. Let me see, is that all the announcements? I think so. Damn, I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, the event that's happening up front. That's our twice monthly Shopify meetup hosted by Andres. I think I'm popping in there to teach a few different things like on conversion rate optimization, on like abandoned cart emails and stuff like that as it pertains to Shopify in the coming months. But for the most part, we'll bring in guest speakers or Andres will be presenting or myself. Chris says, hey, I don't have your keys, but I wanted to tell you that you look great watching the stream. But yeah, that's the other thing. The camera is facing this way. We have a live stream, so occasionally anybody that has a question, this camera right here, the people that are watching it on the live stream, they may ask a question. If you see me just staring at the camera, asking something, it's not me like checking myself out in the camera. It's just trying to make eye contact with whoever asked the question. But thank you, Chris.
Is there a way that I can have the live stream link?
Yeah, in all of the meetup events, there'll be a link in the description for this video on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to Meetup, or if you don't have it, reach out to me, and I don't know because I know you found out about us through your wife, and I sent you the address, so you may not have the
Then
group.
you send me just the address.
Right. So yeah, if you want to send me a message, and then after the group, I'll send you the link to the Meetup group itself, so you have it.
Okay.
But if you wanted to find it now, you just go to the YouTube channel called Wizards of Ecom,
Okay.
and they're all there.
Okay.
Cool. Let's see, before we get into the beginner, what's up? You're back. When did you get back?
2 days ago.
Nice. You look relaxed.
Yes.
Good to see you. Good to see you. What else, announcement-wise? Yeah, no, I think that's good. Some of this other, I could go on and on with like the stuff we're working on in the background for the group. We have a creator blueprint. Erica's been amazing. I mean, she's been the driving force behind it, but we got some really cool stuff coming out for like those of you that want to make money as a TikTok creator. Some really, really good information coming out with that. Erica, Madi, now Moises. We've been in the lab, if you will, testing a lot of stuff. We have it, I feel like we have it dialed in really good. So if you're, I hate to say this, but usually if you're on the lower side of your budget, I think this is a good segue to get into the beginner hour. There's a lot of misinformation about, by the way, who here has not started selling yet? Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Who here has been selling less than 2 years? Okay, cool. Okay, so there's a lot of information on the web. And by the way, I can only speak to like my truth and like my experiences. I have thick skin. I know that my way of doing things is not the only way to do it. We can all do it differently and we can all be successful. Fair? So if I share something here and you don't agree with it, feel free to share that. Like that's what this group is about. It's not a dictatorship. Like we can push back on each other a little bit respectfully, right? But I kind of call BS on a lot of the YouTube videos out there that say that you can start, you know, a private label brand or multiple products on a private label brand with $500 to $1,000, right? Like I know some of the people that say it, and we see each other at events and we have drinks together. Thank God they don't ask me what I think about that. But like I have to just say that that's BS, right? Like I just really basic math that's unavoidable. It's also very misleading and BS to show somebody a grill brush in an Instagram video and then show you that it sells for 12 cents on AliExpress and then show you that it sells for $20 on Amazon and then tell you your profit is the difference between those numbers, right? So I call BS on that too. Unfortunately, they're very good at creating videos, right? So like part of my motivation in this group is to be able to help, and you point me out on stuff too, like identify what is BS so you don't lose money and you don't waste a lot of time, okay? But that created a problem for me in the sense of, like I mentioned before, this group has been around. We're about to have our 11-year anniversary, right? 1,600 meetup events. Do you know how many people have come in wanting to start their own brand, and then they come up to me afterwards and they say, I got $500. And if I tell them go to Alibaba, and then I'm no better than the other person. So like the only option I really had, if you have $500, that used to be a number, believe it or not, like 15 years ago, that you could get your feet wet with Amazon wholesale. I wouldn't even recommend 500 anymore to start a whole Amazon wholesale business. But the only option I really had was arbitrage. And it's telling somebody, because you can, you know? But man, it pained me to tell somebody, giving them advice to go run around Miami in their car all day long scanning stuff. It's like a really, I'm sorry, but it's not a really high quality life. You know, and then you get sick and you can't send an inventory, and that just means in like 2-3 weeks your disbursements are going to be lower. So when this opportunity to make money as a creator and the Amazon influencer, TikTok, and all that came around, I can recommend that. Like you reviewing products that you have with your smartphone, and video editing is just CapCut, no like learning curve on the editing. You can make a couple $1,000s a month on that. And that's I didn't make a couple $1,000s a month in my pocket when I first started, like not in profit. So I can support that. So that's why we've talked about that a lot here in the group, a lot more than I would even say I like. I'd rather just talk every day about building a brand and Amazon ads and like how to scale them and get them in, like that's really what excites me. But the funny thing about this one is not only does that help a lot of people that are in that earlier stage that are maybe susceptible to these, you know, launch 10 SKUs on Amazon with $500, but it also really is advantageous for those of you that have brands and that want to launch brands right now, because getting user-generated content videos from micro influencers or creators, which is what you would be if you were just starting this off, is a really good way to launch products on Amazon right now, leveraging TikTok and Reels and Shorts and all that as well. So, you know, brainstorming this with you guys between events, we talked about it a lot, Bruce, in the advanced breakfast. we've been behind the scenes, like really moving fast and breaking stuff to create this creator blueprint thing that will allow us to have one location that shows creators how to create good videos, and like good videos that will get sales, that in turn will make other brands here and that we're able to connect with outside of here or that I work with to want to pay the creators to create more videos. So it all helps each other. And it looks like it's going to happen. It doesn't look like, it's going to happen. And it's either going to like fail very publicly, and I'll have some whatever on my face.
Not the usual things.
Which is not really what I shoot for, or that's in my DNA, or it's going to be really good for the group. And that'll be released, I would say, in the next 12 weeks. But the announcements of it will start coming like in the next 4 to 5 weeks. And I'm going to take in just a couple people. I know we can get in 1,000 people to do it, but I want to make sure it's a good experience for everyone. So that's happening. So since we talked about, we've hinted at how much money it takes to start a private label brand on Amazon. It is a business. It's getting harder and harder by the day, and it does require capital. I think that's a good segue into the beginner hour and any questions that anyone has up until 2 p.m. And then we'll get into the topic, which will be like a little Nostradamus thing as it comes to Amazon. I know you have a lot of questions, and they're perfect for the beginner hour.
No.
So like, anybody have questions?
More to ask.
No, but yeah, anything you got. Can somebody, those mics, by the way, those cubes, could you throw that to Candace? Yeah, that way the people watching on the stream can hear like both sides of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
You don't have to hold it up, but
Hi.
Hi.
It's actually, how are you today?
good, tired, lost my keys, but
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Your car or your house?
I started the car in Broward leaving the gym, so I had to have the keys with me. Because when you don't have to stick it in, it's just near you. And then I drove here, no beeping. I got here, no keys. So, they're not in the car. I took everything out of the car, but then I put everything back in the car, and I tried to turn the car on, and it doesn't.
So
Is the car open?
The car's open, yeah. The car's here, car's
is
open.
someone at
So
the
it's probably
gym,
around the car.
Well, I got here with the car open because I drove here.
Yeah, but if you don't have your keys and you go out of the car and it's digital key, it locks itself.
Not all cars.
I've never had it lock itself for me, so I don't know if that's a feature my car has. But
AirTag is a solution.
yeah, that's what everyone's asking me now, and I use AirTags everywhere, but I don't use AirTags on my keys.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
is someone at the gym looking for it?
I wish they were a little more motivated. It's a very hot day out and it's an asphalt parking lot. Adam apparently might have already left, but I sent him the information. He's going to go out there and go look around. So besides that though, thank you for asking. I got a great back chest workout today.
Good.
Feeling good.
Okay.
I had an energy drink that doesn't give me acid, so feeling it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted to comment, well, not a question, I just wanted to comment. I sent you something on Instagram you saw where that girl was talking about the scraper emails. Whatever. Anyway, that girl is where she's the first course that I purchased. It wasn't expensive, but the point is, it was exact. She makes great videos. She's been really successful. And her thing was like, so, do you want to make blah, blah, blah? You can find this on Alibaba. Oh my God. Get, helium. How much does it sell a month? Look at all this profit. So tell me below, would you sell this product? And I'm saying I was talking to myself like just the last few days, and I was telling someone else, I'm like, do you know how many thousands you have to add on to that story? There's always an expense.
Yeah.
There's an expense. There's a lawyer. There's a this. There's a that. It's like mind blowing the expenses that keep popping up. I mean, Carlos, even the stickers that I bought, remember?
Yeah.
$180 for 2 stickers. No, I mean 2 different designs, but that's expensive.
Yeah, $180. Yeah.
No, that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I think I'd have a lot less gray hair if I just reversed it and did that, but
Did what? Like, say that in a video?
Say that kind of BS, you know what I mean?
I don't know, but to be honest with you, I was like, you should maybe do a YouTube, I don't want to say that, but like, you did a YouTube video, I'm like, no, this is what it really is.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did one. It's got almost no views.
Really?
People don't want to really hear that. They don't want to hear that it's hard. They want to hear that it's stupid easy. That's what it is. Like no one wants to hear that it's really hard, and getting harder.
But see, there's a blessing in that because I said if I knew this at the beginning, I don't know if I would have went all in.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I would have thought.
Well, you had the advantage that you have a lot of business experience or like people experience or like, I don't know, what you've shared with me and like you have experience in the business world and brokering stuff and
Yeah, but.
between
Yes.
DJ and spin, like you're not agreeing to this, but imagine if some of these people are, and I'll just say this one because we're talking about a woman too. I've come across some people that are just like, I'm going nuts. I'm a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. I saw this thing. It told me to get a diaper bag, and I could start a diaper bag private label for $500. And the person was just so locked in that when the person said diaper bag, they were like, yeah, diaper bags rule the world. Without a diaper bag, my life wouldn't function because I have 3 kids, right? And it's like the singular worst product to get outside of like a garlic press to sell
Yeah.
on Amazon. And then just stuck with like 2,500 units of this like Me Too diaper bag.
Oh my God. Well, it's the back end. It's the numbers. It's all that. Like that's not my forte, but that's really like the most important thing.
Yeah, it is an opportunity though, like the more difficult something, and that's a choice you gotta make. Like,
Yeah.
is it too difficult? I will say this, if somebody comes to me now and they're just like, what would be the easiest way for me just to make a few $1,000s?
Yeah, the
Right.
videos.
Yeah, it would, but there used to be a time that I would say, just start a private label brand, right? It's not the easiest way right now. Like there's like Airbnb arbitrage, there's like Turo, there's other things you're doing. So like, and I don't think that means that we shouldn't be doing this. I think starting a brand is still like absolutely amazing. I don't know anyone who's got a few Airbnbs that had a nice exit with like a 5 to 7x multiple on it. Like we've had some of those, like some really nice paydays on the end of this, and I love it. I love the brand building. I love the catalog. I love all of it. So you gotta love it, and you gotta realize like you gotta know where the money's at. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, but it's not the easiest way to make money. Like it's important to know like why you're doing this.
Yeah. Well, and one other thing just to share, like, because, so like the influencer stuff, so I, like, I do the Amazon thing, now I have people like messaging me on Instagram, like, will I do a video for them? Yeah. So it's funny, so the last batch, I have to do them in batches. I can't like, so last batch I did, I'm like, yeah, they're all up on the page. I'm getting the hang of this. I'm the shit. Like, every video I'm posting is like hitting the page of, because remember, you can submit it and it'll say it's published. It doesn't mean it's there.
Right.
I'm like, okay, great. I did 9 videos the other day. Not one showed up. I'm going, what? So I got to rip them all down, resubmit them, change the, not the picture, but the what I'm saying. I'm going, why isn't this working? This one doesn't even have, this has 1 video. Why is it so now I'm like a little confused on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you looked and saw that the brand detail page had a video on it, which means
All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one.
sometimes it just takes a couple days.
No, they said it could take up to 2 days. It's been over 2 days.
Sometimes it's just like anything else. You have something like, how many times I get on with support and they're like, unplug the printer, wait 3 seconds and plug it back in. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like that, does that work? And then it works. So sometimes it is just like taking it down and putting it back up. It's a pain.
Yeah, I'll do it. But I did usually find when they go up, they're up like within a few hours.
What I would look at though is, are they getting impressions? Because if they're up and you're not seeing
Well,
them, but
my
they're-
impressions did like, yes, I got like 30, I got like more. But
so what's happening there? And Amazon says they don't do this, but I see this. They have like, I'm gonna call it geo positioning.
yeah.
So like if your inventory doesn't have a good spread throughout all the FBA centers in the network, like say there's 100, I don't know, there's more, but say there's 100, and you're in 2 of them, and let's say your product is a top half of the first page position on a given keyword. You will have that position, or maybe a preferred position than that, when the searches show up at an advantageous geolocation next to the FBA centers where you have inventory. But if they show up and say your fulfillment centers were on the East Coast and these were West Coast, I'm just throwing that out there just because it's easy to visualize, and the searches are happening on the West Coast, it's very possible that you don't show, or that you show up like on the bottom of page 2, which is where they hide bodies.
Right,
You know,
right.
like, so Amazon's algorithm is really sophisticated. So what I'm noticing with Amazon influencer videos is, first, you look at a listing and you're like, it has all 5 in the top. So I don't want to create a video unless mine shows up in the top 5. But sometimes you forget to check and you just upload it. And you're getting sales and you don't even see where you're showing up on the page. And what's happening is you're showing up on the page somewhere else.
Oh.
Right, so it did go up.
I
You're
can
just
check
not
my other
saying.
server, actually. I
So
should do that.
check incognito, check different areas. There's like that. If you see no impressions and you're not showing, then I'd be like, unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah, but I don't know if some of those impressions are me checking myself.
Could be anything. Gotta love it.
Can I jump in?
Oh yeah,
I have to be part of
Like,
it.
do you actually have control over that?
No.
So I could be showing up in Seattle or something like that in the West Coast, and not necessarily here in the East Coast, and the sales coming from there?
It's usually not that extreme,
No, I'm just giving an example.
right? Yeah. Well, so are you in control? Not directly. If you choose, I don't want to make this more complicated than what it is, and it's turned into like a pretty complicated topic. But
Not beginning hours at all.
right, this is I'm going to say this: the best way to influence that is to increase the velocity of your sales, because the more you sell, the more they're going to spread you out.
Okay.
Because they know you're going to get sales from multiple locations. So that is the best way to approach it. If you try to attack all the different things that weigh into that, I think you could like lose your mind.
Okay.
And like you would lose sight of like what's important in your business. But just focus on increased velocity of your product, and that's what'll do it. But maybe if increased velocity means dropping your price, maybe that's not a good thing to do. Maybe you want to focus on profit margin. And so there's a lot that goes into that. It's a really loaded.
So what are the principal factors that, let's say, affect your product
The principal
vision
factor.
besides selling, let's say?
Yes. Just have a main image that crushes everybody else's. Like that's of the things that weigh. That's it. You could get everything else I say right, and if you get that wrong, you're pretty much dead. But your main image, yeah, that main image that somebody sees, that's it. Like
Is there a way that you can use GIFs there, or is
No.
it just an image? So
it's just an image. Well,
right?
not all images are created equal. So like you have a 3D render, which within 3D renders there's like 100 different qualities, but like if you have a great 3D render and it's angled right, and by angled right I mean angled to where it's barely facing the buy box, and there's a lot of conversion rate optimization things you can do, but like if you nail that, there's a lot you can do in the main image, but if you nail it, then you're like 90% there.
But for instance, I see very misleading images. They
I
say, hey,
bet.
we have 3D stuff. They put a render, which, you know, if you have like a competent designer, you can do something great. But when you get it, it's flat. It doesn't have the volume that shows in the picture.
Oh yeah, the person took some liberties there, like
So you cannot really control what you put. So
You-
if your
you can push-
image is great, but then you get the product is not the same. It's just like,
well,
I'm not gonna buy from you again.
so that dangerous area right there is called item not as described.
Okay.
Right? You want to push that as much as possible, but your toe even crosses that line into item not as described, your listing's tanked. Like that's it. But you do wanna, like some examples that we use here is you might see if you look up Zule Kitchen and you look up the, oh, don't make me get up. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
I found one
You found one what?
on a different server.
You found one of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're showing,
I'm
give
looking.
it time.
Sorry.
Let me jump over here real quick.
Yeah, I
So
just
so
wanna
what
know
you're gonna
how to
see, and this is my other, like, I've been tracking the heck out of this stuff. What I'm seeing is Amazon also says that the order at which the Amazon influencer videos show up are random.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
I think the one that is converting the most shows up in the best position. It makes
Yeah.
sense. It also makes sense because that's how everything on Amazon works, right?
Yeah.
So we have gone on and clicked into the video and sent a bunch of people to click into a video
Oh.
and then buy the product, and it bumped us to the top of page 1. So this is what I think happens. I think Amazon is inundated with influencer and UGC videos. They need something to decide. You got a sale.
No, I got another one, but this product sells 255,000 a month, and I'm on their page.
Send me that link so I can get it.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry. It's
No.
a dog. It's a dog thing.
So they're gonna say, oh, let's show this in a few different areas. If it bites, we'll show it in more. And they keep doing that until you show up everywhere. And then at some point, they're like, show this when anybody searches for this because this is the one that converts the best. That would make sense because that's how the algorithm works for it.
Right, but the brand doesn't have any say, right? Like if you have a
No, the
product,
brand has no say.
See, but that sucks because what if you gave somebody, I'm going to give you $100, do an influencer video, and then it never pops up on the page? That's it. Yeah, it's a risk.
Yeah, but if there's no other video showing up,
No. Let's say you had a good product that's doing well or it's doing great. Let's say you have 8 videos, 10 videos. I don't know, what is there room for, like 15, 13 or something? I think it's 15.
I've seen 25 on some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you like whatever and someone's doing good videos and you want, like, if you have no say then. You could have,
The most of the time, it's gonna show.
Yeah.
Also remember though, like when you get an influencer to do the video for you, and by the way, when we're talking about influencer guys, it could be someone with no followers. We're just
Right,
talking
right.
about user-generated content.
Yeah.
When you broker something with the influencer, a lot of the times they'll give you the video file. Or you pay like an extra $5-10 more and they'll give you the video file. Those are fantastic videos
Oh, and
to
you can
use
use them
for video ads.
Right.
So like you have other ways that you could use this to where the $100 isn't gonna work. But a lot of people go a little too fancy or too produced in their video ads. Like Amazon doesn't give you a great deal of data on this, but I suspect that there's a lot of money to be made if people start testing video and video ads more than what they're doing. The type of video, like for example, time-lapsed, or we know certain TikTok style things work, they would work on Amazon. Like why isn't no one doing those types of ads on video ads on Amazon? So like you have other ways that you can use them. I would say posts, but they just decided to axe the post program.
I like that big time.
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
So, but that's good news.
Well, and just to go back, not to cut you, but when you just said, I didn't want anyone else to misunderstand, you said, oh, you could do an Amazon influencer thing and have no followers. You mean on Amazon, but in order to be approved, you do have to have followers.
You do have to show a number
Right.
of people that are following you on social media, but
Right.
they could be fake people.
Right.
They could be, yeah.
Right.
Like I hired this agency once to like, on one of my old social media accounts, I was like, I don't want fake followers. And I feel like I paid extra too, like they're gonna do some strategy. Next thing you know, I got, like in the course of a week, I got like 2,500 new followers. I was like, oh my God, everyone's loving my content. They were all models between like the age of 20 and like 25, barely dressed, and I'm like, this has never happened to me in my life. This is BS, this is a lie, right? Like no, all of a sudden people just didn't, like between that age range, all female, decide to want to follow me. So like, they were fake, but
Yeah.
later on I got approved for an account because of that number.
Right.
All right, okay. Let me switch gears back over here. So we were saying, yeah, the main image is huge. Okay, no, the item not as described territory. So if there was, we show sometimes this garlic press. Let me see if I can show it here. Because I think it's a really good example of,
And you don't own your image, right? Even if you have a great image in Amazon, like somebody can just copy and put it in there.
No.
In the profile.
no, you
I
own that
see
image.
that a lot. Products that they have like the copy, but it's somebody else selling something similar, and they copy the picture for somebody that is already selling, has
No.
good sales.
No, if you that image is yours. That's IP. Like you have your copyright. Like that's yours.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get them taken down for using your image.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is a friend of mine's product.
Oh, cool. That's a
So
great picture.
it's a great picture, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a very noisy picture for that category. And since it's such a magnet for competition in China and a low cost, they needed to get here. But if you just had a regular product, I would call this way too noisy. There's too much going on. But for this category and for the level of competition, sure. But I want to point some stuff out. So you see where it says limited warranty over 5 million sold on the side of the box?
Oh, yeah.
That's not actually on the box when you get it. So this is just added because it adds an extra layer of social proof on it. I mean, some of the stuff, if it works really good, they'll actually print it on some of the boxes, but like even when they place an order, like what they print on the box and what they don't is different. For a while, I don't know if he's changed this color burst that says 80 plus colors is not actually on the box. It was added after the fact. Now, if you received this, obviously you know the ribbon, the bow, it doesn't come with a bow on, right? But if you received this and it didn't say this on the side and it didn't have the color burst and it didn't have the bow, would you return it as item not as described? Would you notice?
No.
Right. Now, if you ordered this and it came in a brown china box with no color, didn't look fancy, not giftable,
Yeah.
would you then? Right, you kind of feel,
I'll consider.
right,
but-
so that area, that gray area right there is what you have to watch out for, or the person you're talking about, what they need to watch out for when they're doing that 3D render. So in this case, it sounds like they took some liberties with this holographic looking patch, and the render on Amazon looked amazing, but when you received it, it looked flat. If the difference was so bad, they probably would get their listing shut down because they've received so many negative reviews and complaints of returns, like doesn't look anything like, but if they got close enough to it, then I think that's just good marketing. Yeah, I think that's why Photoshop does, nobody gets their image and adds acne and takes away the beautiful filters. They add it, so like people are gonna do that with their product. Like they're gonna try to enhance it as much as possible in the main image, and you want to do that too. I mean, look at any restaurant you go to and you look at the menu.
Yeah.
You never receive a burger that looks like that.
Yeah.
Like,
They're usually fake, actually.
yeah, as a matter of fact, if you ever go to a good food photographer and you see what they do to take a
no,
food photography
it's not
shot,
real
it's like
food.
nothing like, yeah, they don't even use real food to
Yeah.
pull off most of that stuff. Yeah, I know, we're gonna go back to you. How's it going, bro?
I had a question regarding that Sting's picture. Are they doing any type of IP infringement with the Duracell battery?
No, they have an agreement with Duracell. Yeah. Well, they're also a
They have
massive,
permission.
yeah, they have a massive brand, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I know that they do, but if you, yeah, I know that they do, but like say you can put compatible with and then be able to show stuff like that. You couldn't grab those two Duracell battery images off their site and like pop it under yours. You'd need to take your own. But yeah, that's it. I know you have more questions. What else you got?
No, I wanted to see like the picture that we have, like, if we don't mind
You have images?
showing. Yeah, it's in Amazon.
You got it on Amazon? Yeah, I can pull it
It's
up.
under the brand, Stick Madly.
Stickman?
The stick, like a walking stick, madly, like madly in love.
right. So we're gonna get a little roast of a product, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's not sharp.
Well, for stick mad,
Maybe before that.
no.
Let me look for it.
Well, the roast will start there. If you have a brand, especially with a unique name like Stick Mad, and you search for Stick Mad, and your product doesn't come up, that's a pretty big problem.
Yeah.
I'd say you just pointed out a problem that trumps your main image.
And the brand.
And the brand, yeah, everything. Any other questions while he's looking it up? Oh, that looks like a question.
The question is kind of a loaded one.
I love it.
I'm on Shopify, I'm looking into it, see Shopify, you can add plugins, blah, blah. I come across plugins from Amazon, a few. Do you have any experience with that?
Mhm.
Is there an advantage to adding those things? Advantage to your Amazon account? And Shopify, or you know? You,
So for most of the years of this meetup, what I would recommend to somebody is set up your Shopify store and to just kind of disregard it. Like have it, but focus on Amazon. Like, because splitting your resources and your time, and it's two totally different learning curves. One of them is Amazon ads on Amazon and FBA, and the other one is Meta ads and Google ads and conversion rate optimization and email marketing, and a lot of other stuff. We've reached a point where I don't believe that's a luxury that you can have anymore. If you're going to be a brand owner, you still should pick which one is your main focus. So say it's Amazon. Well, let me take a step back. When that was the case, I felt like the plugins were a lot more important, because that way whatever showed up on Shopify, they would check out, it would pull from your Amazon inventory, and it might even do like a multi-shipment fulfillment order from your Amazon FBA inventory and send it to the customer. It was very hands-off. I think there's a lot of disadvantages to doing that if you're going to try to prioritize your Shopify. So nowadays I recommend, I'd say maybe like a 60-40, 70-30 emphasis on Amazon Shopify. There's some extras that I think you should have set up on your Shopify. I do not think you should set up a plugin that automatically pulls multi-channel fulfillment orders from your FBA inventory to fulfill your Shopify orders. There's other ways that you can go about doing that. That would be better, and a better experience for the person buying it, a better experience for you. One experience is an Amazon box being delivered to your customer. The other one is all the other cool bespoke things that you could do if you ship it. Right, and those things really matter when you're trying to get repeat customers on your Shopify site. Yeah.
If I have a link, can I send it to somebody or
If you want to copy paste and send it to me.
to your WhatsApp?
No, I mean, why don't you just tell me the title?
The title
Start spelling it out to me.
is Army 250th Anniversary 3D sticker.
Creative sticker.
3D, like a 3, like a, and a D next. That's one. The one that is three-dimensional to your left.
This one.
No, the one behind it. The one to the left of that one. The first one now.
This one.
That one.
Okay. We'll get to that. There's a lot to talk about there. Does that help? So like, yeah. The learning curve of Shopify is nowhere near as tough as Amazon, but if you already know Amazon, it's like learning a whole other language, because there's very, very little overlap between the two. But if you ever decide to go that route and you're intimidated of the whole Shopify process, or Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever, your external website, just understand that it's easier than Amazon, more forgiving than Amazon. It's just a totally different language. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So, by the way, everything here is said with love,
No.
because I'm sure everybody's
I
going to
like
chime in with feedback, and I know it's your first time.
criticism.
I don't want to like run you off. This is one of the worst images I've ever seen.
Okay.
First
Too
of all,
close?
everything about it.
Okay.
I don't. As a matter of fact, if I don't look at this, I have no idea what this is.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if it's something that's hanging on a wall. I don't know if it's wallet size. I mean, there's nothing that tells me scale. Is this a frame?
Yeah, it's this frame.
Right, but a frame kind of indicates that it's going on the wall.
Well, it goes anywhere, since it's a sticker.
Yeah, but what's the use that most people are going to have for this? Like, talk to me about
You
this.
can put it from like computers, iPads, you can put it in your car, you can put it anywhere as long as the surface is smooth.
Right, but if I look up other canvases, like they almost look like, anytime you see a frame like this, it kind of looks like
It's
something,
like a canvas, like a.
like
a
it looks like
wall.
something you could hang up on the wall. Like there's nothing that tells me scale.
Mhm.
It also doesn't look premium. Like, I don't know what this is. I mean, I see it here, but like, what is this supposed to be? Is it supposed to be like rough asphalt or?
That's the official 250th anniversary Army design.
No, I know, but
I
when
mean, we
they,
cannot change that.
I know, but when they
I-
did the
it's
design,
like-
I'm sure.
It's sand.
I'm sorry?
It's supposed to.
It's supposed to be
for
sand.
Yeah.
Right, so that's not really communicated too well here, I don't think.
Mhm.
I think it's missing. Yeah, let me look up some other, because your core term here is going to be. Oh, look at this, 3D premium sticker. You actually came up first organic spot for it. That's weird. I wonder if it just saw me search it, that's why. Man, all these are pretty bad.
For instance, how will you show the textures and the volume, for example? Because that's like the value of the that we have. Like nobody else can do this.
Can do what?
This type of products.
Meaning 3D?
Meaning like the volumes, and we can emulate any type of mineral there is in Earth. Like that's why the golds look like gold, the silvers look like silvers, and
But
the volume that it has, and the detail. There's no technology that can do that so far.
Even with you telling me that and me looking at this, I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay.
Like, you're saying these golds, nobody else can do it like that?
No.
I don't think, like, I don't see anything in that gold that doesn't look like a gold that I haven't seen in other places. So it's either that's not being communicated well enough here, or is there like a word for that kind of gold? And
No,
is it?
no. It's like the minerals that you have like in real life that you can get to any of those type of colors and shines.
Yeah. Look,
So this will be better like the first one?
how about this? I think all.
Because like if you put it from the front, what we thought is like you don't see the value of the 3D image because it looks flat.
Right.
That's why we put it like in the side.
So, I think all of these are like a low quality. Like they don't really pop out. Like I don't know who created these.
Okay.
Like they look low
So
quality.
the actual photo.
Like the
is-
actual photo
okay.
looks low quality
Gotcha.
first. Second, of these three, I would use this one, but I would angle it.
Maybe tilted a little bit?
Yeah, anytime you can get your product to look at the buy box is going to help conversion,
Okay.
right? But you don't have to do it extreme. You can tilt it, and if you tilt it, you should tilt it enough to be able to put in a render that shows the lift that it's raised, if you will.
That was the intention of the first one. So,
Yeah, but look at this. This shows the product. This shows the product with scale,
Yes.
right? You have no idea this
That
product.
one you don't see that, like, the.
Right, but forget that for a second. I don't think that's the biggest problem. Like you have no idea how big this product is
Uh-huh.
by looking at this. You don't even see, as a matter of fact, like one of the rules is show the whole product. Like I'm not even sure that this product complies with Amazon's TOS because you're not showing the whole product. Like it's going outside of the frame. And then because of that,
And we thought that we needed something like it will actually show the detail that we can reach. And that's why we have that one.
yeah, the other thing is, I mean, is that a peel and stick?
Yep.
So, was it here? This is a really cool feature to show peel and stick. If you can put something like that on yours, if it applies.
The thing is, like, since we have volume with ours, it's, you cannot kind of like do, that's paper, that's vinyl.
Okay, but how does yours?
Well, you take it out and you put it.
Okay, but when you take it out, like
If
what?
you want, touch it, it's flexible, but it's rigid though. It's not like.
Sure, but when you take it out though, does it have a? Is there an adhesive?
Yeah, the adhesive's in the back.
So, I mean, you could do something like that.
Okay, maybe do both, yes. Okay.
I'm surprised that when I search for premium, 3D premium sticker, that I don't even see anything that looks great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those are the ones that they were like, they copy paste that picture of the United States Army logo everywhere.
Okay, so my two biggest takeaways are gonna be show the whole product,
Okay.
take up as much space as you can with what you have, so it doesn't look tiny. Show scale, like how big is it compared to something else? And
Sorry to interrupt you. So, do you think that picture itself, it has to be, like, your opinion is to be removed completely or not be the first one that they see?
no, I would remove all those images.
All of them?
Yeah, the quality of them doesn't look great.
Okay. What about
Yeah.
the back? Do you think it's distracting to have like the brand in the back?
Well, that's against terms of service too. Like, you're talking about that writing back
Yeah.
there? Yeah, it's against terms of service, it's tacky, it doesn't help conversions. If you're gonna add text into it, I mean, you'd wanna do something like, what kind of packaging does this come in?
Like this?
Are they sold in multi-packs?
Yeah.
How many come to a pack?
Like, each come in an individual pack.
But you sell one at a time?
No, you can buy as many as you want. or just
No, but what I'm saying, this
package
is this is a one pack of 3 inches.
it. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool to see what this looks like in a photo with this picture, because if you added this packaging, you could write kind of like that milk frother added text onto his thing. You could put here, 3D premium sticker or the type of gold that you have that nobody else can get, but you'd actually be able to write it. You definitely want to use your brand name. Besides that, if you're going to use your brand name, which you should, it's hard to say premium, brand generic.
Yeah.
It's not premium, it's generic.
Yeah, we're like actually still working on.
Right, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of
No, of course.
it's kind of hard to miss. Like, you're trying to push premium and sell
Yeah,
premium,
this is-
but the brand is generic. This is better, but still,
Maybe the color.
this is way better.
That looks pretty good.
That's the thing. It's probably the first one to.
Yeah, but
find-
you're still not showing the whole product.
Yeah.
But the color looks better. Yeah.
Go to your WhatsApp for a second. I sent you 2 images because what this reminds me of are, if everybody ever seen baseball helmets now, they have like a 3D raised sticker to the front of them. So instead of just being a flat sticker, they have a little raised sticker. And I think if you had a graphic that showed like a profile of your thermos with that sticker, I think you might have an idea what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thank you for
see
that.
how-
Oh yeah.
So if you, like, see how those are, you
Yes.
can tell that it's a 3D sticker, and then probably look at the next image I showed you, that might be a little better. But if you had a thermos on the side, and you could show the side profile of that sticker.
I got you. Yeah. You're
That's the
totally-
only one I got.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're very like we're diverse in our like.
Yeah, it's the only one I have in
Right
WhatsApp.
now.
I could send the kid doctor pics.
Try that.
That doesn't open into a link for me.
No, just the image. You showed the image or no?
Let's see. No, I can't get the image over here on the computer. Yeah, so those are some.
So basically, you will like show a scale, like, you know, with the terms, like, you know. Like
Show the whole product.
Your lenser. Tom, thank you for the comments. So like probably show a scale with something stick on it and maybe a close-up that shows the whole sticker so you can see like the 3D. Because like I agree with you, the white one, because of the background is white and the color is white, I think it gets lost when it's close.
Carlos, there you go. Now look at the third one from the bottom.
Yeah.
See how that shows the raised to it? I think a profile shot like that would do the trick for you.
Yeah, but like for instance, like in our case, this is like embossing this point, right? So you only have two different volumes. In our case, we can have like different types of volumes, so the whole thing is not like if you want to touch the letters here and touch the star, they have a different hierarchy of height.
Yeah, but that's, you'd have to show that, like, it's one of those things that you got to try a bunch of things and see what works, because I would look at, first of all, you want to, some things you just want to do, period. The whole product needs to be shown in the main image.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a TOS thing and just a good practice for sales. The next thing would be, in this case, you're going to want to show scale, because you want to take up as much space in that main image slot that you have, but if you take up all of it, then you might not have a good opportunity to show scale. But you could try it. The next one would be the product showing something that shows scale. It might be like a silhouette of a thermos or one of these mugs that's grayed out, that's obviously like this doesn't come with the product, and it shows it on it. It could be the back of a car. It could be, I mean, these products, I mean, the packaging doesn't look bad for the type of product that it is. It might be just showing the product and then showing the product in its packaging, which is a pretty common thing to do, and it'll give you some real estate to add additional things about it.
Digitally wise. Yeah.
Right, and then as far as the raised part, I don't know, my mind kind of goes to, but I don't know if it would be a main image thing, is showing the product maybe on its side, but like in a bigger view, showing the different levels that it has.
Not a main image.
Not a main image, but what is it called? I think they're called demarcator lines, something, but showing like the raised element to it. You don't have to solve everything in the main image. You just need to solve that this is what the person was looking for, that it's great quality, and you got to get the click. That's what you want to do. Some of this other stuff, like the depth of it and comparisons and lifestyle images, like this doesn't have lifestyle images. Like what are all the places this could go that somebody would be inspired to put it on? Go take those and add them as secondary images. I'd create a video showing how to apply it. Like it's an opportunity to get a video. When it has a video, Candace is sure to review each one of them once it qualifies. And there's several people here that would probably add like creator videos onto it that'll also help with your conversions. And then I'd shoot some like user-generated type with your phone videos of it in different locations.
Yeah, that's what we have. We're putting that
And use them
together.
as video ads. But
Yes. The thing is like, we used to do a lot of OEM first, but I think like the conversion of that was not what we expected, so that's why we are working more like how selling our own brand. And
Yeah.
having the license. See the white, it gets lost there, because when you click the other color, you actually can appreciate the heights more.
yeah, but this frame is pretty misleading.
Yeah.
And that looks like a wooden frame
Yes.
that's around the product. The other one is,
There's generic.
it can't be generic and premium.
Yeah.
It's like short and tall.
Yeah.
The rest of it, good. I would encourage you to look at some multi-packs. Once you fix the generic thing, you'll get A+ content, which I'm sure you don't have now, and a nice brand store instead of this generic, but it'll be in a lot better shape then. Cool?
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah?
Can I add one little thing to
As long as it's a little thing.
I think one extra step on top of everything Carl just mentioned, always when you get lost, at least at the main image, because we all know that the main image is like the most important thing. Ask ChatGPT, take a couple of pictures of your product. Ask ChatGPT, how should I structure my main image at least, and how, tell ChatGPT the pain points that you're facing, and tell her what you would like to achieve and what it suggests for you to kind of have the main image. It's kind of a little extra.
Thank you.
What else we got? Yeah.
Just another thing to add, I would say he had mentioned that it was the official logo for the 250 here. I would maybe add some emphasis on that, saying
Yeah.
that it's the official logo, that it's it's not just any sticker combination you put together.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be good. Any
Appreciate
other?
all the input.
Yeah. Any other feedback from anybody on that? Any other questions?
I got that program.
Yep.
We're in the process of discontinuing a product. We have like a small PPC campaign going on it. Does that automatically stop after inventory's out?
Yeah. Well, it's a bunch of things would trigger that, but you run out of inventory, you no longer have the buy box, and if you don't have the buy box, your ads automatically shut off. Yeah. Yeah. What else we got? Any other questions? I'll remind everybody again, but I meant to say it at the beginning, next week's 4th of July weekend, so we won't have a meetup. So we're gonna, and for some of you that are here at the advanced breakfast, we won't have the breakfast next week, and we won't have the meetup next week. So everybody knows. Cool. All right, I made some notes to stay a little organized with this. Pull them up. Any questions from the stream, Bruce? None. All right, where am I pulling up here? Still no messages saying they found my keys, so that kind of stinks.
They found it?
No,
Oh.
I don't even know if Adam's headed out yet. I'm hoping he has. I have like a few Medeco keys on there, my car keys, everything. Oh, I offered them, yeah, man, to go pick it up, but if not, can't believe I'm about to pay $1,000 for keys. All right, so we'll get into our topic of the week this week, which is I'm hoping a very open topic. It's not this thing for me to drone on about for all of us to get into. It's I read a blog and then it was giving me some, like what usually happens for me to come up with these topics for the events is, as a content creator, I always keep like this idea list. And then I've created another, if you've seen a Kanban board, I have another column that's kind of like, great idea for a meetup. And a lot of stuff dies there. It's a great idea when you think about it at the moment, but then later on you're like, this would be a horrible idea. But I read this blog that was like done in 2022, predicting like what's gonna come in 2023. And I was like, oh, like a prediction meetup and like what we think's gonna happen. And things move so fast now that I was like, I think this would be a good topic. And then I heard a podcast. I think it was Ecom Crew, because a friend of mine, Mike Jackness, he's no longer with the podcast, and he decided to go create a YouTube channel. Go figure. Having somebody track him and his partner around gambling in Vegas all day, right? And business is doing great, by the way. And they were speaking about something like this, about what they expect to come in the next few years with e-commerce. And I was like, okay. So I felt like I had enough there, and it'd be cool to know what everybody else thinks. Because sometimes I hear from people that will say, I think that might be a good question to kind of start things off. Do you think starting on Amazon now, you're too late to the party? Do you think it's the perfect time? Like, where are you at on that scale when it comes to selling on Amazon? And you could choose any model you want, by the way. It could be a reseller, it could be private label, to influencer, whatever the case may be. Like, do you think you're too late to the party, or do you think that, cool. Don't everybody chime in at once. I'll pick on somebody. Tom. Sorry to interrupt the Candy Crush.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I'd start on Amazon right away out of the gate again. Probably do something to fund my Amazon campaign so I'm not reaching into my pocket. Because I think what a lot of people do is they unfortunately go to China, where they find their product, whether they've invested 50 or 100 grand, they put about 90% of it into the product, and 10% is left for creating the listing or the A+ content or the advertising. I think that's kind of probably upside down. I think you probably need 80% into your advertising, 20% into your product. I would probably be looking to build a community first around my product to really see what they know, like, and want. And I know that sounds like it's not going to give you that immediate fix, or immediate hit of like adrenaline. Oh my God, I just got a product, I can sell it. But I think give it a couple months, 3, 4, 5 months, and you'll probably end up launching a better product, a more successful product with a better audience.
Cool. Anybody else? You think you're too late to the Amazon game, or perfect time? Hi, Andres. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bullish on just generally like online retail in general. I was reading some kind of like financial article that like online sales, like e-commerce, is supposed to like, I forget what it was like, you know, XYZ billion dollars, and it's supposed to like double in the next 5 years or something. People just are generally ordering more online. So no matter where you're at, I think as long as you're reasonable and you're efficient, you should be able to find some profit on someone.
Cool. You're nodding. Yeah, you agree? Or?
I'm in agreement, yes. It's going down round. People are shopping less and less. And at the mall, we're all on our cell phones more and more. There's more tools. It's been more democratized, if you will. So whether it's hard or not, it's just going down. We're more. And in this country, yeah, we're advanced, but in other countries, they're still in the beginning.
Right. Latin America is a big one. Yeah. How about you guys back there?
I mean, I would say that it's definitely harder than it used to be. I mean, that's for sure. And I think that the biggest part is like there's so many established names, depending on the strategy, right? I mean, when I talk about like wholesale direct, I think there's just so many like established companies that offer such high level of services with experience that's come that it's like, you know, if you're newer to the industry, it's going to be hard to, you know, guarantee results on listing, for example, or things like that, compared to these companies that have been doing, you know, 5, 10 years and have so much experience to go off of. So I think that's like a hurdle that I see. But I mean, the opportunity is still there because, you know, when you look into brands, you still see so many big brands that just don't have control over their market. So when I'm talking about like brand direct aspect of Amazon.
So Amazon wholesale.
Yeah, wholesale,
Right.
You know, like just going into it as a reseller, obviously you're thinking like more long term than a few years ago you could go into it and just think about, you know, this product, buy this time, sell, then I'll worry about it again. So, you know, in that aspect, it's gotten harder, but there's still opportunity for you. You just have to, you're gonna have more hurdles, for sure.
What do you think, Bruce? Where else would you go? Right? Yeah, that's a good one. So that's good. It doesn't seem like there's any like doomsday conspiracy people here. Like, I agree with almost everything there. It has gotten a lot harder. To me, that's sort of, not that I just want something to be harder just because, but it does weed out a lot of the hobbyists. So I am a big believer in if you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. And if you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. And I'm looking for a business. So that's been good. Like every new certification that Amazon requires or logistics hurdle or something, yeah, I'm not happy that I now have to get a headache figuring this thing out and readjust a bunch of stuff. But I also know that most people are not going to do it. And that's just less competition. That means more of a whole, but I'll say hi. We have to reintroduce you to everyone. It's been what, a year? No. What's up, brother? Tom, you remember Alex? Alex, Tom? You could sit too, you could sit.
You got out of jail? When did you get out of jail?
Well, here, you want to introduce yourself? They bonded him out. No. It's gotten a lot harder. 16 years ago, when I went full time into this, main images were kind of optional on your listing. They didn't require you to have a main image. If your main image goes down on Amazon right now, the listing immediately shuts down. It gets suppressed, you won't see it. Main images were optional. Descriptions were optional. You needed one bullet and you needed one word in your title. That's it. And it sold, it just flew. You sent it to FBA and it flew. Obviously a lot has changed. One was a lot, I mean, I thought I was running a business and I was an entrepreneur then, but like, obviously that was a lot more hobby than it is now. But I personally think it's every year it's changed. Like the way, regardless of the model, and I just talk more about brand building and private label, but like what we did changed. The hack that allowed you to do 7 figures in sales, we'll do that, 14, 15 years ago, was just getting a bunch of freelancers to go on there and add your product to a wish list. That's all they had to do. And it was just a whole bunch of people like swamped you and added you to a wish list and you did great. And then those people ran out and created courses on how to dominate Amazon. And then Amazon figured it out and then those people disappeared. And then a new flavor popped up and every year there was something different. But if you just treated it like a business and you explored a lot of these trends that came up, and you shouldn't ignore them because your competitors are doing them, but you explored them, but you didn't become too dependent on them. Your gut's a good indicator. I had this one where I'm like, if I was at a bar with Jeff Bezos and I told him about this thing that I'm doing to successfully sell my products on Amazon, if he'd be like, yeah, that's in the spirit of Amazon, this is probably a solid thing to do. But if he looked at you like, you're getting away with that? If I didn't feel comfortable telling him that, then it probably was not a solid thing long term to do with my business. So I agree with all of you on that. I think it's a better time than ever. And nowadays, what that looks like is Amazon has always been the best launch pad for your products to start. It just has. There's no other place like that to do that. The problem is, for so long, it was so much easier to just ignore everything else. And it'd be like, why the hell would I learn Meta ads or Shopify or anything like that? I just keep feeding FBA and I keep making a whole bunch of money. And that gravy train rode for a long time. And nowadays, you could get your whole business shut down with an email on Amazon, and if you're not in other places, you have no other revenue coming in. Nowadays, the great money you're making is using a lot of like influencer marketing in conjunction with Amazon ads. So you want people to search for your brand name on Amazon. And you should be using that as a launch pad to get people on your email list, and you should be using that as a launch pad to get people to buy on your external sites, or at least not be so dependent on one single marketplace. Like that's where we're at in 2025, almost at 2024. We're in 2025, yeah? That's where we are nowadays.
Just a quick question. Someone wants to know if it's still worth doing the Amazon program.
Man, I think we have several strong years ahead of making money as a creator, whether that's Amazon influencer, whether that's, the gravy train of Amazon influence is kind of, I don't know, I want to say it. We still have several years ahead of doing it. It's just going to take on a few different looks in the meantime. Like, for example, one of the things I'm going to bring up today is how bullish I am about YouTube. So if we're looking at ways to like expand, I think YouTube, like we all talk about like what could be, if Amazon had a whole bunch of serious competitors, I think that would be great for us, because they'd need to do more things for us as sellers. Buyers would have more places to buy our products, and it wouldn't all be Amazon. When Amazon jacked up some fees, we wouldn't be so hit by it. So I wish there was greater competition there. Unfortunately, Walmart sucks as a competitor to Amazon. And and TikTok, for all its, for all everyone talks about it and how fast they seem to be moving, they're like a fraction of a percent of what Amazon sales are. I think YouTube could be a competitor. I mean, they have the Google Ads program, they have the creators there, they have Google Shopping, which is a buyer network. The only thing they really don't have is the fulfillment network. And that seems very doable for a company that's, you know, that's the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the first largest search engine in the world. Like that seems to be a very doable thing. But
They can outsource also, no?
I'm sorry?
They can outsource.
They could. They could team up with like a FedEx who's kind of tired of being bullied, or a UPS that decides, you know, we're tired of making nothing on these preferred shipping. There's a lot of things that could happen. TikTok could get more serious about the fulfillment game. I mean, just because they're a fraction of a percent about it now, who knows what, you know, could happen. I was going somewhere with it. So the question about, from YouTube as far as creators, yeah, is it going to be TikTok creators or Amazon influencer creators or whatever, in what you're gonna make money on? I don't know which one is gonna be the best one to do it on. I think you should explore all of them if that's the business you're gonna get into. But yeah, the Amazon influencer program is still great right now. I think some of the reasons people are seeing it as like, oh, it's so difficult to make a lot of money, is because it's actually very difficult for the person to treat it sort of like a business. If you want to make a lot of money with it, you're gonna have to at least treat it a little bit like a business. Like, decide, I'm gonna create X amount of, I'm gonna carve out 1 hour a day to shoot these little product review videos per day. I'm gonna do that every day for just until I'm making the amount of money that I wanna make. If you do that, you 100% will be making a several $1,000s a month off of it. There's no doubt about it. I know several people that are proof of that. I shoot a video every now and then, and it's mostly so I can get up here and talk about it and not be a hypocrite recommending something that I don't do. But even with that little amount, like, I haven't added a video, I think, like in 4 months. We're still doing about $600-700 a month. Like, had I continued to keep doing it, we'd be making thousands of dollars per month. So yeah, it's not too late. It's too late if you want to just create 50 videos and pull in $1,000 a month. Yeah, it's too late for that. But I would caution people, though, into the Amazon influence, that want to get into the Amazon influencer space, shooting videos or just being a content creator. It's a great side hustle. Like, it really is. I mean, if that existed when I started, like, I would have been all over that. But there's the best way to kill a side hustle is to turn it into a business. So if you're doing a bunch of videos every day, if you're doing like 10 videos a day every day and you're knocking it out under an hour, cool. If you decide you're gonna batch record and you're gonna do 50, 60 videos a day, you're like a hop, skip, and a jump from being a video agency, because editing 50, 60 videos and uploading 50, 60 videos and shooting 50, 60 videos, that's kind of like a job, not a side hustle. So you gotta be careful there and like be clear. If this, you know, if doing the videos and doing the editing taps into something you didn't know existed and you're like super excited about it, go for it. Like, embrace it. Be an Amazon, be an agency, be a video agency. Be a UGC influencer agency, but be careful, is my caution of what I would say. Like, needing to edit 100 videos a week is actually work. So yeah. Any other questions on that? Or yeah. I'm gonna revisit the thing I was just saying about YouTube in a bit, because I wanna go deeper on that, and I didn't wanna start with that one. But one of my predictions, I tried to avoid saying anything AI, because I feel like AI is a big point of stress for me right now, because one of the things that I do here with the group is, man, I try to bend over backwards trying to find the latest thing that will allow us to like level up our businesses. And with AI, half the time I'm thinking, well, we should be ignoring this. This is shiny object syndrome. And then I'm like, oh my God, if I'm not doing this and I'm not showing this to the group, we're falling behind. So it's a very stressful thing for me. But one thing that I feel like and we don't know what 2 weeks is gonna look like. I mean, at the rate Anthropic and ChatGPT and Gemini, and they're rolling stuff out, it's like, are we even gonna have jobs in a year? You know what I mean? Like, so it's stressful. One that I'm very confident on, that I think we should be looking at, and that is, we're gonna look back and say, like, we're either gonna be badly sucker punched by this, or you started embracing it now, is AI shopping assistance. The way we shop is going to completely change. TikTok's really showing this. Everywhere in Asia, which is several years ahead of us, all the time with live social selling, like that's what's coming. And now you add in AI, shopping assistants like Rufus, which Amazon is really heavy into. I buy a lot. Like, I'm embarrassed to say how much we spend on Amazon that comes to our house every day. I started messing around with Rufus just to like be able to report back and understand from the brand side how this could be affecting me. I love Rufus. Like, I don't even like shopping without Rufus anymore, which completely changes the way I shop. If your product is 100% dependent on search terms being entered and you being surfaced, you could be in a lot of trouble. I'm not gonna say that I know everything you need to do to be Rufus proof, but you really should be like dedicating some resources to figure that out. Or that could be very like extinction level event type thing for our businesses, I think. So for me, AI right there is AI shopping assistance, but it's a really easy segue into live social selling, which that is coming, because like we already see that happening in Asia. And that's probably the next flavor of the influencer program and UGC creator stuff. It's gonna be these brands saying, instead of wanting this like 30-second video showing everybody you going 1,000,000 miles per hour on this pre-workout that we're pushing, like instead live stream it, which again will cut out a lot of the hobbyists, because most people are scared to even be on video. People are terrified to go live for an hour. So that would be one. Feedback on that, what do you guys think? Worth looking into? You're like, no, it's 10 years away. I see you wanting to say something, Candace, go for it.
No, I think it is like around the corner, and I agree, like certain people who are great creators aren't be able to talk to people for an hour, let alone like 3 minutes without, they can look, crazy. So that's gonna weed out, if that becomes like the norm, that's gonna hurt a lot of people.
It's going to probably be age-based, and it will depend a lot upon what product people are searching for.
Mhm.
It's an older person searching for, something for their house. It's not going to be the same type of selling platform as will be for a 22-year-old looking for a bicycle.
I like it.
I actually saw a post on LinkedIn about a week ago regarding the AI shopping and changes Amazon's planning to make. I was trying to get more information. It didn't have a date. It was like a screenshot of an email from Amazon announcing that they plan to make changes to their title and bullet point display on mobile in the future based off of data they've gathered from Rufus, and to optimize more Rufus searching, since over 70% of the sales are on mobile. They're going to shorten the titles and actually put more emphasis on that first bullet point being more short and descriptive, straight to the point kind of. So
Yeah,
that's some changes I saw coming up that I think everybody should know.
That's big, but if you do a lot of advertising on Amazon, which I do, or we've written, I don't know, maybe 10,000 listings and created to this point, that rips out the entire foundation. Like, that changes everything. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So, like, it's the way we rank stuff and launch stuff, and like everything would be impacted by that. So, when you find those articles, share them in the group.
Yeah.
I'm not the guru on that subject. I'm the guide, trying to be the guide here, just like everybody else. So I think we can all collectively like share what's working and what's not working with each other, so we can all do amazing by it. But like, if you come across that article again, please share it in the group, or DM me if you don't want to post it in the group, and then I'll share it and I'll say, found it from a friend.
Yeah, it was like a post on LinkedIn, but it had some good information. It was saying kind of how, it's such a big change that listings that don't optimize to this new searching method that Rufus is going to be basing off of, they're going to fall off the map, because it's just Amazon's going to prioritize that part of the search so much that the former formats, like yourself, if you've done so many listings, you have a way that you've nailed. That's, it's not AI relevant basically. So
Yeah, well, one way that competitors are, in a black hat way, using Rufus to their advantage now, a lot of the times, like what I'm starting to see now is 5-star reviews that say some things in the review that you can't get the review removed because of it, but it's sort of seeding the listing with keywords like, I loved this, but it wasn't compatible with X. But if a chunk of your sales were coming from it being compatible with X, what happened, and you didn't look at it, 'cause it was a 5-star review and you're just happy you're at 21 now instead of 20. What's happening is, for a shopping assistant, when someone's using a shopping assistant and they want to know if it's compatible with X, it's either going to come back and say, like, it's not weighing the reviews, like it's either going to come back and say that your product is not compatible with, or imagine you're shopping and you ask Rufus if it's compatible, and it's like most people say, no, I want everyone to say, I don't want to get this thing and it not be compatible. Or what if it's the only review that spoke to compatibility? Then it's going to say that it's not. So it's, what we started doing is going into listings, and we'd have ChatGPT put together every question imaginable that someone could want to ask about this product, and we'd start querying Rufus on, you know, how is it responding to that, and is it favorable for our product? And it was pretty alarming. Like, I'm not saying it was our competitors over in China, you know, putting all this bad stuff. You know, I'm more concerned about U.S. competitors than I am Chinese competitors. But it's something to really look into. Yeah.
Another thing I saw AI related was kind of, depending on the search engine, right? They have obviously different data they pull from, and you know, just overall, like, marketing is leaning heavy towards using a lot more like blogs and website posting as well to drive traffic to these AI searches, since that's kind of what they're making their decisions on. You know, when you put something into ChatGPT, it's doing like a full scan of the internet. It's looking at top 10 lists. It's looking at articles that may be recommending things, and you know, more traffic on that is going to result in more likelihood that you'll be popping up on ChatGPT searches, right? For when people search like best product or best for this, you know. So that's also something I think is going to come into play as well.
Agreed. I think we went through, I'll get into another prediction. I struggled with wording this one, but we went through this. So 2019, I'm in an offer, I'm about to get my best exit ever in a business, right? And I put it off because we're about to have a cruise in early 2020. And we go on the cruise in the beginning of 2000, online seller cruise, by the way. That's our annual event. So we go to online seller cruise, early 2020. And I'd say half of our group at some point on this ship, seems like half, is that about fair? About half of our group got hit with the worst flu they have ever had, right? And even what was his name, Michael Brinkley, the video guy, he was like out, yeah. Other people afterwards, as soon as they got back, hit with the worst flu they ever had. Felt like they had a weight on their chest and couldn't get out of bed, right? I get back, I'm feeling sick. So you guys know where this is going. And then I had an opportunity to speak at this event in San Francisco almost as soon as I get back. So I'm on a plane, and while we're in the air, they shut down San Francisco for COVID. Obviously, the buyer was no longer interested in buying the brands because everyone's business, like everyone was going to go out of business. And for 2 months, it looked like that, like it looked pretty bad. And then those of you that were selling online in 2020 know, like it was a sad time for a lot of people, but if you were in e-commerce, the business side of your business did not have a sad time, unless you sold travel pillows, unless you sold like neck pillows for like traveling, then it was bad. But for travel, yeah, right? Business explodes. During that time, our community was like in a panic. We went from in-person events only to this, bringing in this Zoom component, somehow kept the group alive.
The share
But
of Zoom went like to
Zoom went through the roof too.
And the people
But-
that sell toilet paper.
And the people that sell toilet paper and water. I placed the biggest Instacart order I ever had, like we were ordering for the next 10 years. And I started getting a lot of questions from people in the group that I hadn't heard from ever. I knew they were part of the group, but I didn't know. These are like 8-figure sellers, and they're about to go out of business. They sell gym, home workout equipment. And I'm like, how are you going out of business? Because I just bought a Peloton, because I know I'm about to be locked in the house. This Peloton has passed its way around the group. It was in Alex's house for a while. It's a great clothes hanger if anybody wants to know. I rode it twice.
Oh my God.
But I was like, everyone, my dad, the idea of my dad not going to the gym, and he's a gym rat, I was like, he's getting divorced, right? Like, so like, this is the perfect time to sell at-home gym equipment. But this company is talking to me, 8 figures. They sold out overnight. They sold out of their inventory, but they couldn't get new products from China. And they were in this, think about this, in the best time possible. They could not get more products to sell. They were sold out. They were having to let people go, and they had no way to do business. And that just sat really wrong with me, right? And I was like, how do you not have, like, I wind up encouraging them to say, listen, why don't you open a YouTube channel and start offering, like, to your email list, like, online classes, workout classes, and I mean, just, you gotta have something. You don't have courses, they had nothing. Anyhow, the other thing I was saying is, why don't you source products from the US? And they were like, no, that's way too expensive. You can't do that. That's not possible. The minimum order quantities are too high. And that's what I had always been taught. And that's what I had been telling you guys up until that point. But with a lot of time on my hands, I kept looking into it. And while I still love sourcing products from China, I realized that I had been drinking the Kool-Aid on that subject, and there is a lot of opportunities to source products from the US. So post-COVID now, there was a period of time, and post-COVID, I don't know, everyone has a different date as to when COVID actually ended, but that thing went on for quite some time. And 2022, we were still feeling container costs, like we were still feeling it from COVID. So there was this period of time here where everyone was like, okay, we're hearing about all these opportunities to source products from the US. Why even think about selling products from China? And then some tariffs start popping up and a few other things. So we've gone through this phase that was just like China only, US PLMA only, anti-China, and then what I feel is happening now, even though I understand the political climate right now and tariffs and all that, what I'm seeing from the factories, the reputable factories that are in China right now, they're bending over backwards to work with us. I think what we're gonna see, like, in the next year and a half, I think we're gonna see a lot more options, a lot of other countries that are gonna be able to make things that we used to just get from China. But I think China's gonna win on the price, the expertise that they have for so long. I'm seeing China to be a great option still, and trending in that direction for sourcing products to sell online. Now, let me throw something out there. It's not a fit for everyone, right? So when you come to me and you're like, Carlos, I want to sell a private label product. Some of you've heard me say this before, but I think it hits home correctly. The first thing I ask you is, what is your goals? Like, for some of you, I knew somebody that just wanted to make X amount. I was like, $1,900 or something, because they wanted to send his 2 girls to private school. That's it. That was the only thing he wanted. And then he wanted, like, to watch games on TV. He didn't want to do anything else. So he was successful. That's all he wanted to do. Other people want to empire build. They want to make a lot of money. Tom, when I asked Tom, I was like, what are you passionate about? Like, what are your goals here? He said, I want to cash flow positive. So everyone's different. If you tell me that you just want to make a couple $1,000s extra per month, I think you should pick the easiest way possible to do that. And there are a lot of replenishable food-based products that you can do that on, and other types of products sourcing here from the US, right? If you want to grow a line of kitchen appliances, or you want to do like an eco-friendly line of cleaning things or organizational things or whatever, you're almost probably looking at China. So it really depends what you want to do, what are the financial goals you have, what are you passionate about, but I'm seeing both of them still as great options. The one thing I would say is if you're going to be looking at China, is obviously take into account the tariffs. Take into account that the climate has changed a lot. Like selling a $13 item on Amazon with the fees that are associated with that and the ads doesn't leave you very much profit. But everyone I know that sources products from China, that's selling a product that's in excess of $60, they're doing great. Right, so higher ticket items, doesn't mean that the cost of your item is higher ticket, but the perceived value allows you to sell it for a higher amount. Everyone I know that's selling products from China, that's selling higher ticket items, they're not complaining about any of this stuff. They're doing great. So the noise you're hearing everywhere about you can't go to China, you can't sell products from China, no. But again, there's a lot more complications when working with China. There's a lot more complications to working from China than there is grabbing a factory in Pennsylvania that makes, you know, X food thing that you can crank out in under a month. So, everybody with me on that? Mm-hmm. I think we're going to continue to see China get better at what they do, and I think we're going to start seeing a lot more options throughout the world that used to be just exclusive to China, especially in Latin America. That's my take. Tom looks like he wants to say something. He's looking up from Candy Crush.
I went back to a product that I was selling in China and I had run out, and I approached them and I said, hey, listen, with the tariffs and with everything else going on, can you improve on my pricing? Otherwise, I'm looking at like an extinction level event. And kind of threw that out there, like, hey, if you can't help me with pricing, I'm done. And instead of a $7 price, it came back with like $4.50 price. And I was caught in my chair when I saw the response. Like, what? Did I miss something? Is there like some extra tariffs? So I find that their appetite to go back and revisit them. I think this last round of tariffs really smacked them pretty good. And so I think they're pretty desperate for keeping you on board. So if you are ordering from China, just revisit with your supplier and see if they can do a little better, or else just see you later, and I'll find another product with somebody else in China.
Yeah, China's still as strong as ever. Just weigh everything out that you're going to make sure it's what's best aligned with what you're going to do. But don't, I'm throwing it out there even though I've seesawed on this. You know, when something changes, I react to it. I don't want to just continue the narrative that I've been saying when I'm obviously seeing something that's clearly different. So you can do it. It sounds like you're asking a question on somebody's behalf.
Yeah,
I got it. You're going to put her on the spot?
Yeah, no, I know we came a little bit late.
It's all good.
And I'm not coming from the position of being like a merchant in e-commerce, but we do work with like a payment processor in e-commerce.
Which one?
It's called Sharp Processing. It's more for kind of medium to high risk if you're dealing with like high ticket items like we were talking about. And I know if you're selling things on like Amazon and stuff, you kind of have to use the processor that they have. But we work with companies like, say, who are selling on Shopify and who are getting like bans and stuff because of the items they're selling. So I kind of just wanted to see if anyone is selling items and what the consensus is with like the experiences.
Can you do CBD?
Yeah, just some kind of like research and development.
So like the merchant processing side, like if I have issues selling CBD, I can sell it.
Exactly, yeah. Or like if you,
And we do a lot of low risk too, but we find a lot of our clients come to us specifically because they're feeling those issues are labeled as high risk, even if they're not high risk. Like we just had a call earlier with somebody that's selling sweaters, but since people are spending a lot on their account, they're getting these high ticket purchases, so Stripe labeled them as high risk, even though they're not selling anything like this. So we help bring down that, so they're not paying high risk fees. But
What are your fees?
you can pretty much beat any Stripe, Square, all of that. We beat them out, and everybody gets the same fee. Every processor is entitled to the same fee, so we need to bring it as low as that as possible. It depends. We offer like free analysis.
And what was the name of the company again?
Sharp processing.
Shark, like tiburon shark?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have a question, like.
If you guys have a card or something that you leave with me, I can take a picture and share it with the network afterwards, yeah. And afterwards, we kind of network too, so. It's a good point. I used to deal with that a lot because I had several brands that were in the cigar and cigar accessory space, and getting a merchant that would actually accept us was hard. And then even when we removed the cigars, they didn't like the paraphernalia, and it was like a bunch of jazz. We did adult novelties, and that was hell. So, okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Good question, like, since everybody like brings products from somewhere else from the world, in specifically in tariffs, like, when you, the tariffs that are going to China, for example, when you bring, you know, I think it's 50% right now for China.
Is it 50%?
I'm not sure. I think
It's 30.
55, right?
55
So.
of the commercial invoice.
In your case, when they're charging you that tariff, it's 55 flat that they charge you, or they charge you like, for example, what it was before plus the 55% of the tariffs.
So if your commercial invoice is $5 and you're paying 50% there, it would be $7.50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because like in our case, when we nationalize the product, like from where we bring the product, it's 10%. You know, but when you nationalize, you pay more than 10%. I know that there's.
Where are you bringing the product from?
From Central America.
I don't know what the tariffs are from there.
10%.
10%, yeah.
So it should be, if the price is $10, I should be paid 10 cents from the product. But it's not that clear, so I don't know if.
No, it's the percentage of what the value is on the commercial invoice.
Yes, of course.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody has.
How much are you paying?
It was probably more than 15%, which is strange.
So you're paying 15 cents, 16 cents.
Yeah.
Are you sure that that's from the, well.
No, like in the port, like let's say like FedEx was importing everything, right?
So tariffs is not something that like, and I don't want to get into like religion or politics or anything, but just bear with me because it's hard to not talk about this without talking about Trump, and I know that like triggers some people, but Trump didn't start tariffs.
No,
right.
It's been since the 40s.
So like, a lot of the products that I like to sell fall into like the stoneware, glass, ceramic, porcelain area. And ceramics and porcelains usually always sat at around 21%.
Yeah.
Right, so there was other things like my humidors that came in like at 4%.
Yeah.
So the country might have a tariff percentage coming in, but then the type of product that it is might have an additional amount. Like I don't know if the felt, or it might be the adhesive, or like there could be a bunch of other things. So like I would just ask like, how did they reach this? And they should be able to tell you.
That's the thing. They're being like kind of like.
Who's they?
FedEx. So like it's like, okay, this is the invoice. Okay, I want something the glossing, like what I'm paying here.
You need to look up your there's like there's HS
code.
codes.
Yeah,
You got to know what your code is, and you should be able to go online and see your code gets X percentage.
Yeah, and it says 10%.
Right.
So I thought like if somebody has experience that.
But is FedEx is not creating the label? Are you creating the label through your FedEx account, or is the factory creating the label and sending it through FedEx?
Like the factory is creating the label
So then
for
the,
us.
so if
And
you're
like
being
so they have the number that.
right, but FedEx isn't going to
They
add
just-
anything onto your percentage. Like they're going to charge what you should be charged based on what was put on that form.
Exactly. So I don't know if they messed up and they put it.
I would talk to the factory. Yeah, that's very common.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first round of, I just said this on the podcast, which comes out I think on Wednesday. The first round of humidors that I brought in from China, the factory asked me what they wanted to put on it, and I said they were wooden humidors. I said put wood. So they put wood, and my container came in, and I got hit with something called the Lacey Act, which was like they need to fumigate your lumber and wood. I got treated as if I was bringing in lumber, right? So like what you put on that matters.
Okay.
So like, but that's on you to get knowledgeable about and work with your factory.
No.
They just want to get paid.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. So we covered a bunch there. Here's one. If you started selling like 5 years ago, yeah, Tom?
Just real quick, if you're interested in those stickers, man, go to like some of these print shows. Like there's a print show in Orlando called Print United.
Yeah, I go there all the time.
Yeah, so go to that show. I think you're gonna find a lot of vendors there, and then you're gonna get it supplied from the US. I think with your profit margins that you've shown, getting from the US is gonna see a whole lot of OQs, going back and forth with Canada, the HTS codes and everything else. I think it's Print United, and then there's another one in Las Vegas, and they kind of flip it all back and forth.
Yeah, that's Magic Show.
Which one?
Magic Show. Vegas, Magic Show.
Not the Magic Show, but Print United, and then there's another one.
Provide your own finishing. Provide your own finishing.
Tom's a big fan of that.
The thing is like that.
If you started selling like 5 years ago, you know there used to be this time 5 years ago when you went to conferences, there was aggregators everywhere. People that bought our companies, like we'd grow these companies and they'd pay us a nice little multiple on them. They all went bankrupt. They all learned the hard way that running these businesses are hard. And they didn't know the numbers to look at. They didn't know the personnel to hire. They're coming back, is what I'm saying. A lot of them, they've just, bankruptcy was just a tool in their toolbox that they use to get set up, learn, and come back another way. Their money didn't dry up. It looks like they're coming back and they're smarter. So I predict like in the next year, we're gonna see a lot more of that, because they reach out to me a lot and they let me know. Everyone seems to be saying in about a year, you're gonna hear from us, or we're throwing this event and that event. So they seem to be coming back. Good news for us when we go to conferences is we're gonna go from little sandwichitos from the refrigerator to sushi again, because they like trying to like dazzle us with throwing around other people's money. So that's a plus. The other thing is it's going to be pretty easy to sell our businesses again, because that was a really nice thing. What a lot of you don't realize when you're starting a brand is you're usually, if you start it, you're broke the whole time. And you probably start it because you want to like retire or leave your job, so you're trying to like bring in this extra cash so you can do X. But in reality, all the money you bring in, you put back in to buy more products and sell more. And then when you hit a limit as to what you can sell with that product, the extras, you then put into a new SKU, and you do the same thing to that SKU, and you just keep pumping money back in to the company. And when you're pumping money back in, you get to run around and say that you're a 7-figure business and tell people you have $1 million business, but you probably also qualify for food stamps at the same time, personally. And you're making these, no, I'm serious, it's a very real thing. And like you have this great thing, but when you get paid a lot is when somebody buys it from you. And then they're gonna pay you a nice little multiple on the profits, and then you realize that you did not do the last 3 or 4 years for nothing. And that's a really cool thing. So these people re-entering the space is a great thing for us. I would say, I don't know, a lot of people say that you should start your business with the exit in mind, like already thinking about that. I don't know. I don't know if I could say that with a straight face. I imagine starting all my businesses thinking of like my great grandkids inheriting it and working the family business, and that's what motivates me to like do it. But I don't, you pick whichever one works for you. I will say focus on your profits, and the last 3 years of your profits is going to be the most impactful when you go to sell your business. So just when you decide you want to exit, it's usually not, yeah, you know what, this summer I'm going to exit. No, it's a process that you've been planning and building into probably for the last 3 years. And there's a lot of things you need to do, like with your ad spend, with your ordering of inventory, so that you are more profitable during the time of the exit. But my prediction is these aggregators are going to be coming back in force in about a year. Yeah. Has anybody heard any rumblings from any of them? No? They will be. Let me see what else we got. Okay. I'm going to touch back on the YouTube one. I'm very bullish on YouTube. I know YouTube's a pretty scary thing when you think about it. The video and what are you going to talk about, and there's a learning curve to it for sure. We have a YouTube meetup. That's how bullish I am on it, that we meet twice a month. And we talk about from starting all the way to letting it be a meaningful part of your business. I have 2 successful YouTube channels. Successful in those cases just mean over 100,000 subscribers, and we got the plaque. We just launched another one called Carlos Alvarez Shorts, which is shockingly already doing good. There is a way to sort of crack the code on YouTube, but I will not sugarcoat it and say that I can make it easy for you. It is difficult. It is 100% worth it though. So if anyone is interested, I'll just touch on a second as to why I think it's important and worth the effort of doing. But if anyone is interested in going deeper into that and like starting that learning curve to be able to make YouTube a meaningful part of their business, then just reach out to me and I can send you the link to our meetup group that shows our meetup events that are coming. Or if you're already connected, just join the next meetup event for YouTube. But like I mentioned earlier, in comparison to Amazon, let's say, Amazon has the eyeballs already on their platform, so does YouTube. Amazon needs to make money with ads. YouTube has ads. They have the entire Google ad. It's the most robust ad platform out there. There needs to be some shopping component. Google Shopping, after Amazon, is one of the biggest shopping platforms in the world. Trust, I don't know. But when you hear YouTube, even though it's owned by Google, it has a lot more trust than, say, Google, and sits in a good position against Amazon. And creators, meaning influencers that bring traffic back over and over, YouTube wins that one. Amazon's actually failed multiple times over the years with posts and Spark and all these other platforms to try to get creators to create content on their platform. So YouTube wins hands down there. What we talked about earlier though with influencer marketing, live social selling, these are things that already happen on YouTube. So I think YouTube in the next year and a half, 2 years, will start being talked about more as a competitor to Amazon in that sense, not rivaling them that close, but I think they'll be seen as a very viable competitor to Amazon for selling products. YouTube's already poised to be the second largest platform in the world to consume podcasts, right? So they've successfully entered Amazon and Google, Apple's domain for podcast listeners. Shorts, they do phenomenal in comparison to TikTok, so they're like right there with their version of like short videos. And what was the other thing with YouTube that I wanted to mention? And it already sells products. It's already set up for something like that. Like it sells merch. Creators can list products that they're selling. I think, yeah, there was one other thing and I'm blanking on it now. We talked about social selling, creators. That'll come back to me. What do you guys think about that? You think YouTube is going to be a rival to Amazon or start heading in that direction as far as a place for people to sell products? Yes, no, maybe? You think so? Why?
By the amount of people that
Has a lot of people.
they have the number.
They definitely,
TikTok shops,
huh?
probably YouTube. Who replaces TikTok shops or at least competes with them? Because right now, other than Amazon, TikTok shop is the only platform that allows that. So whether it's Instagram coming with an Instagram shop or YouTube.
Yeah, I think YouTube's in the best position for like a TikTok shop equivalent. A lot of the creators that are on TikTok, they're on YouTube. The marketers,
Those both of them make now with the shop.
yeah, and that would be great. I think Facebook with Instagram, I think Facebook's not to be ignored. I think they're definitely, I'll tell you what I think. I don't think TikTok will be the #1 player in the social shop selling ecosystem. So I would put YouTube and Facebook somewhere, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever, like I'd put that somewhere ahead of TikTok. But Facebook already has a marketplace. Well, when I say Facebook, I guess we're talking about the Blue app, right? But I'm more Instagram would be better positioned for something like that. It has Reels. Of the platforms out there that are social that I've purchased the most from, it's actually been Instagram.
And Instagram doesn't even promote that much.
It doesn't.
Like it just happens, yeah.
It has a built.
Wouldn't YouTube be mainly FBM too? Because they don't have the warehouse.
Oh, that's the point that I was missing. That's the one piece that they would be missing. Adam, were you able to? No? You couldn't find it? You went?
I think I searched it for at least 45 minutes.
It's all good, bro.
Car, I'm tired, asked them to like,
No, it's all good. Appreciate you, bro. No keys. All right.
Where does live is going to be the best? Because I think live shopping is going to pickaxe.
Yeah.
So where do you think what platform is going to be the best for live shopping?
Well, I think a lot of platforms are going to do it, but the one that's best positioned for it right now is YouTube. I mean, they do it. Huh? Yeah. They're and with a lot of the bells and whistles on it. As a matter of fact, YouTube has something that a lot of people don't, whereas if you're watching a stream on YouTube, and this guy's sharp dressed in the back, and say, I like his black hat, or I like the chain that he's wearing in the stream while it's happening, it can grab what he has, and I'd be like, I want to buy that black hat, and wear that black hat is. He's not even trying to sell that black hat. He's just wearing it because he likes to wear the black hat. But I like the vibe, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can pull that off. It can send me a link to buy that black hat. So if there was somebody else selling that black hat on the YouTube platform, you'd have a very unique, robust live shopping experience built in.
How do you do it though?
It already has the recognition stuff. Think about it, the recognition that was needed. If you put up a YouTube video and you're...
Well, this is live, right? You're saying this is live?
Yeah.
And I want to buy your glasses.
Yep.
So how do I get the link?
It's not on all the streams right now, but it's starting to show up on some of them, and for some creators you have to enable it. But it will, image recognition, stuff that I have, and then link to it. You'll see it as like a bubble after the stream that you could hover over the bubble and it'll show that product and a link on where to buy it. It's going to be Google Shopping. It's not going to send you to Amazon, but that exists. So that would be one way that something like that could happen. Now, if he was selling and he had like a fashion channel, he'd probably list all that stuff below. Right, there's clickable links that can pop up on the screen during a stream that people can do. So like, there's a lot of different ways that it can be done. I'd say YouTube's in the best position to do that right now. But there's also things like Whatnot, and a few other apps that are places out there right now that have been investing a lot into live streams and social selling. So of everything we're saying, that's pretty much the guaranteed one, because that's already happening successfully in Asia, and it's just a matter of time before it rolls over. Yeah.
But also, do you think Amazon will have a live selling?
They do. They do, but they're not winning. Yeah, they're not winning. I don't. Yeah, I think there's. It's a great question. Why do I not think Amazon's winning the live social selling? So I think a lot of things are happening first. One, we're not completely ready for it, like for it to be adopted. And I thought that was going to be like 5 or 6 years ago when it was going to be adopted, and I was off by quite a bit. I thought it was imminent. So it's not 100% ready to be fully adopted by most people. I think we're only like a few key influencers away from really blowing it up and popularizing it. Like if Taylor Swift or somebody decided that she was going to like do it, or some other celebrity was to do it for a while, I think it would get adopted pretty fast.
Do you think that Amazon is now not structuring the live yet in the way they present it on their...
I think Amazon is phenomenal at what they do with their marketplace, but I think they're too rigid. Like for example, if you saw 10 YouTube channels that were live streaming, they'd be totally different in the vibe that they had. Like it's very customizable what's there, what you can say, what you can link to. A YouTuber could link to their Shopify store, could link to anything they wanted. On Amazon, there's only one. So it calls into question, I don't know, I think it's too rigid.
I think because Amazon Live is embedded in Amazon shopping platform, I think it gets lost. If you think about what Facebook did with Instagram, gave it a separate platform, and then even, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Meta owns WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So WhatsApp, can you imagine if WhatsApp was inside of actual new Facebook and get lost? I think they can tell the big that owns the platform.
Yeah.
That would be the better.
Yeah. It also, when have you heard Amazon marketing it? Like,
That's what I'm saying, they didn't
yeah.
really focus.
Some people here probably didn't know that Amazon had a live, like a live stream section where people were selling. Did anyone not know that, by the way, a couple minutes ago? Right. So if you go into Google and you search up Amazon live video, you're going to go to a totally different spot on Amazon where all day long people are live stream social selling.
Like QVC?
Yeah, like QVC. Like it exists, but you unless you heard about it from someone, you didn't know. Right. And then the way it kind of is, even when you go in there, you're like, oh, this is super cool. I know about it now, but when am I going to come back here to buy? Like, who do I know that's streaming and going to be talking about X? So it doesn't do a good job with that.
Do you think it's taken from the PPC money? That's why Amazon is not really pushing it, because we know that Amazon rely a lot on the PPC money, right, from us sellers.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money, so maybe the live shopping is going to take a portion of the PPC, so they're not really pushing it yet.
Could be.
In my humble opinion,
And
the
AWS is most of
difference
Amazon's profits,
in
not
Amazon is like Amazon doesn't have like that personal experience that you have with YouTube. You know your YouTuber.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know your YouTuber.
I mean, you think you trust it because
Right.
you don't really know him, but like, you know, there's a person behind the brand.
Any expensive electronics, I go check out MKBHD on YouTube. You know, and I have a few different people. Like, I'd rather go watch the pool guy on YouTube for a pool product. Not that I don't have a pool, but like, than I would going to Amazon and searching for a pool. So like, yeah, there is some of that.
Not to give you anxiety, the AI word.
So it's all good.
I've been seeing a lot of things, like on X, that the AI TikTok influencer videos are getting like hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah.
Do you feel like eventually that's gonna be more dominant than people on TikTok? Because those are like the young techie people.
That's a great question. There's a lot to that. So, let me see. So I do think we are very quickly, if not in some categories, already there to where AI videos are going to be more in abundance than real videos. Just because what it takes to produce a real video versus what it takes to produce an AI video, it's not even a close comparison. So the more AI videos that are out there, they're naturally going to get more views just because of the amount that there is. But the other part of what you said, it kind of sounded like you were saying, so does that kind of mean that it's not worth doing? Because why put forth the effort? So on TikTok, what I'm seeing, and this I had been saying this, but I have data now. I will take, and my number's going down, the low number is going down even more. I will take 50 views on Instagram, over 1 million views on TikTok. Like, you can be shocked by it. I'm just seeing it across different channels. We have some stupid videos, some things that we thought were great. That's the comparison we're talking about. So on TikTok, are AI videos going to get an abnormally higher amount of views? Yes, but views are definitely not created equal, and they're definitely not created equal on TikTok.
Well, the other thing is like, as far as buying a product, who knows how it converts, because you want to buy it from a person.
Right. Usually videos everywhere that sell good have much fewer views, because what you needed to do to sell is usually the process of selling. It's usually not as entertaining. And the more entertaining something is, the more views that it gets. Right. So I think AI video is going to be super exciting. I think there's going to be certain areas that AI video will dominate. But to sell your products effectively, to build an effective brand, to build a community, no.
Right, and also, when I did say it, I wasn't saying like, oh, like what you said earlier, do you think it's still worth it? No, I know it is. I was just curious, like,
Yeah.
you know, your take on it.
We were having a debate at the breakfast. I was debating it with Ramon. I mentioned this last week, and it was that he said that because there's so much AI video that there's no point in creating a good video. He conceded and said, okay, so my AI video is mediocre, and say you do create something that's great. And for him saying you could create something great meant you had to be in the 1% of creators, which again, I don't think you need to be in the top 1% of creators to create something great. And that if you did, your video wouldn't show up until video 25, and the first 24 spots would probably be hogged up by the AI videos. That means you wouldn't be seen. I don't disagree with that, but like I disagree with the fact that your video wouldn't be seen, because nobody gets on the video and scrolls through the first 3 and be like, these are super boring, I'm just gonna stay on these because there's no point in me continuing to scroll to find something good. And scrolling to get to video 25 is what, a few seconds? So I think it's, I think because we're gonna get inundated with mediocre, crappy AI videos for the most part, that it's a great opportunity for you to get into creating, because you're gonna stand out more. That's my take. Yeah? Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like the future of like Walmart.com and like Walmart Plus?
I think there's Walmart shoppers in the world, bro. Yeah. I mean, Walmart's still a massive company. I don't see them folding their e-com. It'll get better. It can't get worse. So, but yeah, I think Walmart suffers from, if you guys got to go, you can go. I see you trying to say bye. No, you're okay. Yeah, it's all good. Sure. Sure, if you want to write my number down, one of you can message me. Yeah. Yeah. 305-965-5857. Carlos.
On the screen now, ding, 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 ding.
Right? Anybody can message. Yeah. My 2 cents is that Walmart's always going to have that eBay issue that I've talked about, and that is if you have 2 houses sitting side by side, everything's identical, same cars, same neighborhood, right next to each other, same paint job, and one of them has a box of Amazon boxes in the front, and the other one has a box of Walmart, and then somebody said, which house is more affluent? The image is that if you're shopping on Amazon, it's status, you're probably more affluent because you have the Amazon boxes, and Walmart is seen as, like, I think Walmart's gonna suffer from that, just like eBay suffers from being seen as an auction place now, even though the majority of their products are buy it now. It's used auction, but that's not what eBay is, technically, but that they're never gonna get out of that. And I think Walmart has a bit of that they're not gonna get out of.
That's the cheap reputation.
Yeah, YouTube wouldn't have that coming in. Facebook wouldn't even have that. Like, but yeah. So no, I wouldn't put a great deal of resources into them. Yeah. One that we've touched on throughout that I don't have to spend a bunch of time on, because I know we're running a little, how are we doing on time? Yeah. Diversification away from Amazon is going to be crucial. I think we're already there. I mentioned diverting some resources to Shopify, and like think off of it. Think, if you're just like, Carlos, I hate the idea of Shopify, at least think multiple marketplaces, even if it's the Walmarts or whatever, but like don't just be on one marketplace. Like that's suicide mission right now. I would recommend trying to get an email list in place or something on social that you can sell at some rate, something on Shopify and a third-party marketplace. Use the third-party marketplace like Shopify as a launch pad, and have something in place, whether it's mobile app, some way to capture emails to get people on those emails and selling to them on your website. But have something like that in place, and then a way to connect with them on social media should your marketplace go down. But just being on Amazon, I think is a really bad idea. nowadays, and it's going to get worse moving forward. Any questions on that? We touched a bunch on influencer marketing again. I don't think we touched on it throughout, but that was the other one. I'm really bullish on influencer marketing being important for brands. I think there's going to be different ways you can make some cool money as a creator as well. You could be a very successful brand and also love being a creator. So you don't just have to be on the startup side to make money as a creator, but it's a really great way to get started. I think that's going to be great on both sides of things. And when the YouTubes or whatever new platform comes up and social selling and live social selling, that's just going to make that stronger. So that's good news for us in the sense of that's going to be a lot more affordable than the way Amazon ads are going and ads across the board, like how expensive ads are becoming. This will take a lot of the bite out of that for us. Like I'm starting to see more people posting on social media, and I reach out to these people because it's something I've been tracking for a while, that are saying, launched last week, 300 sales, still haven't spent $1 on ads. So I think you should be running some ads, but the fact that you can say that nowadays, and we're starting to figure out ways to where you don't have to be so dependent, is great, yeah.
Your product though has to be in Amazon in order to enroll in buying, correct?
Yes, in Amazon FBA. So we talked about that. We talked about already, we've been getting there, but my prediction is there will be no, if your thought is to make profits, low cost Me Too products, that's just done. I think that's just completely done on Amazon. If you're trying to launch something new on Amazon that's like that, you're done. Now, if you have a strong social selling, like what I told you, imagine you're selling an ice cream scooper, and you have a course in a community on how to make homemade ice cream, and you're driving that to Amazon and you're going to rank that way, that's fine. But if you're thinking you're just going to launch an ice cream scooper on Amazon and use Amazon PPC and be profitable, like that ship has sailed. Then the final one I have is, and this is more of something that I'm going to be doing moving forward, is I'm going to try to stop using the word private label. Just to kind of emphasize the point home, and that is I think private label is dead and branding is the way to go. I think there's a pretty big distinction between the two. A lot of the times what we talk about with private label is anything from slapping a sticker on some random product we found from Alibaba and several other, more sophisticated ways above that, but it usually does not include things like thinking about social media, having an off-site presence, building an email list, customer service, like all those things that are actually super important that are going to allow you to be alive. None of those exist in the definition of what private label is on Amazon. And I think if we keep using the wrong words there, we're going to keep thinking the wrong way. And I think we're looking at like the last 6 months to a year of private label being a very profitable business on Amazon, unless you're already moving the ball, like you're already there. Don't panic, Tom. Don't panic, Tom. I know that's pretty extreme, me saying 6 months to a year, but I've been saying this for quite some time. I think private label, the way we know it, is it's on life support, and 6 months to a year, you could, with the exception of a few unicorn sourcing opportunities that you find, you'd be hard pressed to make it a viable business. Viable meaning profitable, that can pay a meaningful bill in your life outside of your phone bill. But branding is as strong as ever. We're just going to have to, as a group, just tackle a few things that we haven't had to tackle before that should have been part of our businesses anyway. But I'm going to start referring to it as branding as much as possible. I'm still going to slip up and say private label. It's been 11 years of saying it here in the group like that, but there's a clear distinction between the two. So I believe private label is as close to dead as possible, or dead, and branding is the way to go. So that's all I had. Does anyone have any questions on any of that? No? Thank you. Well, I thought I was going to get beat up for that private label comment, so at least you guys didn't throw anything. Yeah. Yeah, they weren't supposed to see that. They see a ticker on the bottom.
Okay, and then the,
What do you mean washed out?
cutoff here.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But maybe if you put the camera on it and angle it down instead of straight across here.
Yeah, the whole idea, I just don't communicate it good. Like what you see on that screen that's swaying by, that's down here on the ticker for them.
They are, yeah.
Yeah,
but
'cause
they're
getting-
complaining that they can't see this.
Yeah.
I'm giving you an example.
Yeah. Oh, I did give an example today. Yeah, I didn't even think I was going to use my laptop, but I did. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but for sure. ¿Cómo estamos?
Estamos pendientes,
Good.
Carlos.
¿Ah?
Estamos pendientes de lo que hablamos.
Sí.
Estoy esperando la información de los precios. de los
Sí, sí.
precios, ya.
Okay.
Did you call the gym? Keys?
Yeah. A friend.
Really good. What's new with you?
It probably doesn't work because you don't have that brand name on Amazon. It says generic. Yeah, but you don't have, on Amazon it says generic. That's the brand name field. You did brand registration. Then you gotta get a hold of Amazon and ask them why it's not reflected. It needs to show up there. Otherwise, the brand is wrong. But also it has to do with, sometimes if you search the brand name of something, even if brand registry is there, it may not be, for lack of a better word, indexed correctly. So when you start getting some sales off of brand names, and that's what you want. Then once you get a sale off, it should be pulling up. As soon as you update it from generic to brand name, it should be pulling up.
So I'm speaking, I left you, I was like, yeah, at the end of that. Was due. 4 years.
I obviously didn't do any keyword research on the listing, but it's just like listings. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And then maybe we drive traffic or.
But everything else, like, you're just.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man.
Ahora eso que decía.
Sí, claro, claro.
Pero creo que tú estabas diciendo que no lo pueden hacer no lo pueden duplicar tan fácil. ¿Que por qué? ¿Por qué?
Nosotros podemos poner un NFC chip para que sea original. Y entonces, y también es licenciado por el gobierno de Estados Unidos. Porque tenemos la licencia con ellos.
Sí, sí.
Entonces no se puede hacer en cualquier printing machine. Nosotros tenemos nuestra propia forma, un in-house project.
¿Y eso te lo hacen en Honduras?
Sí.
No fregues.
Sí. Ahí tenemos la empresa de manufactura.
Pero la empresa no es tuya, ¿eh?
Sí.
O sea,
yo manufacturo.
¿Tú manufacturas?
Sí.
Yo hago. Entonces tú me puedes hacer a mí uno.
Hacemos OEM también, sí.
Oh, yeah.
Pero casi ahora todo lo estamos haciendo en licencia, no estamos pasando casi solo en licencia.
Yeah.
Porque tenemos licencias de Estados Unidos, hacemos también anime como Dragon Ball, My Hero Academy, un montón.
Pero tú tenías uno en el listado, había uno plateado.
Silver, sí.
¿Qué te iba a decir? Y,
si que estoy en mi tarjeta y te puedes meter a nuestro web. Nosotros hacemos bastante. Pues.
OEM
ahora porque estamos llenos, porque todos se lo estamos haciendo al Army, y el Army y el Navy tienen el 250 aniversario este año. Entonces,
Pues la verdad, yo no tengo ni idea de, o sea, cuando lo mostraste.
Sí.